Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk, episode 247. Aaron Valencia from the Los Angeles Children's Project. They're raffling off a C10, doing it for the kids.
What it costs to put young people through this program to get them going, to try and get them on a better path, it adds up. You know, that was pretty expensive. So doing the car giveaways it's a multi-tier thing. It helps offset the cost of covering food and work boots and welders and metal and everything else. But it helps keep the place open for the next generation coming through.
Damn, son. Seeing is believing. And our title sponsor, United Pacific, makes seeing a whole lot easier. The crispness of the United Pacific LED headlights, taillights, marker lights, and more makes seeing and showing your truck that much better. It's time to upgrade your old dim halogens for new LED headlights, taillights, and more. They offer the brightest and latest LED technology. Headlights are available up to 1,600 lumens, easy to install, and it fits right in the OEM housing. How about upgrading to sequential taillights? They're DOT approved and ready to ship today. DOT approved. And for you 73 to 80 GMC and Chevy square body guys, they've got the new front parking lights, LED with stainless steel bezel. Think UP Car Parts. That's upcarparts.com.
Let me tell you what Melba's Toast is packing right here, all right? We've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some bucking muscle.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man is a television repairman. Ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth clapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Welch.
What's up? Episode 247. Hopefully, jumping back to 246, you were able to listen to Mr. Zachary. Zach from Hoonigan had a great time with Zach Mertens, chilling. Ended up being like a 2-hour pod because, just chatting it up with Zach. So jump back to 246 if you haven't had the chance. Jump back to 246 if you haven't had a chance to check that one out. 247. So I see the Los Angeles Children's Project on IG, and they're raffling off a C10. So I reach out to them and said, dude, let's chat about it. Let's talk about it. So we've got Aaron Valencia. What a cool story. Love what these guys are doing for the kids. Building character, building skill set, and putting them out to the working world and giving them jobs. So you guys will dig this one. We've got a busy month coming up for sure. September 4th and 5th, you've got the C10 intervention in Woodland, California. Now remember, on the 4th, that's the UP Light Up the Night. So United Pacific, our title sponsor, they're the title sponsor for that show, but also the Light Up the Night on Saturday. That's the cruise in downtown Woodland. It's a bitchin' time. They close off the main street, and you're just cruising up and down Woodland. So UP Car Parts presents the Light Up the Night. Now, what they're doing through the end of this month, so August 31st, you can use the code UPLED20, UPLED20, and get 20% off your LED lighting. So something they're doing for the C10 Talk folks, for our listeners, UPLED20, save 20% on all your LED lighting for your trucks. No brainer. Okay, so 4th and 5th, you've got the intervention. Then on the 10th, you've got the El Chuco Cruise to the Pines. We are probably going to head out. I think I'll head out on the 9th, which is Friday, and drive from Arizona over to New Mexico, hang out with the fellas, Alex, the C10 Club El Chuco, hang out in Rio Doso, and then beat feet back on Sunday. So that's September 10th in New Mexico. So those guys are going to cruise from Texas, El Paso on up into New Mexico. So it should be a good time. September 17th, the one and only C10's in the park, Waxahachie, Texas. If you're out there, you're in the vicinity, you got to go. Even if you didn't get registered for your truck, go as a spectator. It is a great time. C10's in the park, Waxahachie, Texas, September 17th. Listen to the pod. Listen to what Aaron's story is, what he's telling you about this C10, about the kids and what they do, the Lost Angels Children's Project, and get behind it. I think you buy one ticket for $20, you buy 5 of them, maybe you get a bonus ticket because they do some different giveaways. I know I will be, and what a cool thing. You might win a truck, and it goes to a nonprofit to benefit the kids. So I was happy to have them on. Support what they're doing over there. Get behind them. That's what the C10 Nation is all about. And $20, buy yourself a ticket, but you know it's going to a great cause. So check out the pod. Thanks again. Have a great week. Again, if you haven't had a chance, jump back to 246. We got a good one with Zach. You'll dig it. All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the pod. Have a great week. Late. All right, C10 Nation. How about a little special, a little something different? I've got Aaron Valencia, and he's with the Lost Angels Children Projects. I saw you guys pop up on my social, Aaron. You've got a 1962 C10. You guys are getting ready to give it away next week. Is it next week? No, 2 weeks, September 3rd. So I thought, hey, let's get the update and get the 411 from Aaron. So Aaron, thanks for taking time to be with the C10 Talk and the C10 Nation.
Awesome. Honored to be here. Thank you for having us.
Well, I know you're burning the candle at both ends. You're trying to get the truck done. You guys have got a lot going on. So I do appreciate you making time. Tell us about not only Lost Angels. We want to talk about what you guys do. We want to talk about the truck. So wherever you want to start us off, let's do it.
We kick it off with, I guess, what's going on right now. So we're doing every year we build a car in class with our students, and then with staff, build a car as a fundraiser. This is our 7th year. First year in 2014, we did a 1931 Roadster, and then a 36 Ford, and then a 51 Cadillac. We did a 59 Chevy Apache fleet side. We did a 64 Riviera, and then the last one right before COVID was a 59 El Camino. All these that we've done every year as raffle cars or as giveaways, we sell for $20 tickets, make it super affordable for everybody. And just as a way to raise money to keep the doors open, keep the program going for kids in the community. And then as another way just to kind of raise awareness of what's going on, out in the car world, just letting people know, like, hey, there's a lot of youngsters who are trying to get, we're trying to inspire into this industry. If not, what happens if the next generation aren't getting inspired into these cars? What happened? They just disappear, So it's keeping people going, keeping the this hobby, so to speak, going, and it's at the same time inspiring young people into different career fields and prepping them for adulthood. This year we're doing finally coming out of COVID. This year we're doing a 1962 C10. There's one we had planned in 2019, and obviously everything just paused. So we're finally getting this thing wrapped up and done. And we do our giveaway every year at the Ventura Nationals Custom Car and Motorcycle Show in Ventura, California, right on the beach. Super fun show, lots of cool stuff out there. And like I said, we just try to do something positive and just see how it grows. And it started as something, honestly, as a way to help kids that were living in homeless shelters back in 2014. And it evolved into an after-school program. And then from there, from an after-school program, working with 13 to 18-year-olds, evolved into what it is now, which is it's a vocational work center for 18 to 24-year-olds, for kids that are aging out of foster care, that are coming off the streets, that are just disadvantaged as a whole, as a way to teach them skills, teach them how to weld, how to read a tape measure, how to work together, problem solve. And actually, it's an employment piece, and they're working and they're getting paid, and then they graduate after 12 weeks and trying to get every one of them employed into careers. Where we're at right here in Lancaster, Palmdale, which is like North LA County, it's like an aerospace hub. So Northrop, Lockheed, Edwards is all right here. And they just came through. Northrop just came through and hired this whole class I have right now of 25, just offered all of them job. They saw the skills that they're doing and give them all job offers. So all these kids that are 18 to 25 just all got career opportunities at Northrop.
Wow.
So it's all from starting from working on an old truck and how to tear something apart, bag and tag the nuts and bolts and take care of some rust and work as a team and problem solve and see how that goes into now they have career opportunities. So in a nutshell, that's kind of how it operates.
No, you nailed it. I think it was very well described. Tell us a little bit about how you guys gotten started. Were you there at the beginning, your staff, and making sure that we understand and give them the kudos that they need? Because like you said, if we didn't have these type of programs, eventually, if you can't see the forest from the trees, then the skill set, we fight it now, right? Where guys cannot, or companies and businesses cannot find the employees that they need. Who would have ever thought? And that's what it is. There's not enough skilled labor out there that want to do it. And you guys are providing that avenue for, at-risk kids. Yeah.
So it was actually, I founded this in 2014. I've had a small hot rod shop here for years, and I grew up homeless, grew up struggling, grew up, as a young teen drug addict, bouncing around in and out of jail, and got clean and sober and changed my life in the late 90s. And then it's really just been about work and trying to be a positive person, and had a little shop. And I started actually volunteering at a soup kitchen and doing that for a couple of years, doing hot meals with people that were homeless and struggling. And I'm watching kids grow up in the food lines, and it was driving me nuts. And I just thought, man, I could do something more than a plate of food. So I rallied a bunch of extra parts I had, takeoff parts, and just a bunch of stuff, and kind of was able to throw together a 31 Roadster, a little Model A Ford, and sell raffle tickets and raise money. And we raised almost 50 grand, and we split it up between 2 different homeless shelters here in LA. Just for the youth, just for the kids. So the kids could get new shoes, kids could go to Disneyland, and just not feel like they're a victim of their circumstance for at least a small period of time. And it worked, and it grew really fast. I did it again the next year, and by the third year, I thought, man, so I'm raising money to give to shelters, which is great, but I'm like, man, it's give a man a fish or teach a man a fish. So I opened the shop to kids in the neighborhood and create a little curriculum, and welding and making metal boxes and doing custom little paint job stuff on skateboards. And it just evolved. I saw that this was working. And then, fast forward a couple of years, I got kids graduating high school. It evolved into a whole youth center and a whole after school program. Kids are now graduating high school, got their driver's license, and everything's going good. And they're coming back with helping me I'm wanting help for a reference for a job at Walmart. And I was like, no, man, we could do better. The skills you guys got, we could do better. We could, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I see where they're going. I'm like, man, you guys could jump into a higher paying career. So I started the vocational training center to get them going to the next level, get them into jobs. Cause that's just it. They've pulled everything out of the high schools, pulled all the auto shop, metal shop, wood shop out. So there is a huge vacuum in the blue collar industry of young people not wanting to jump into that field. Cause it's just doesn't seem attainable. Doesn't seem like who's inspired to do it. Unless you have a dad or a brother or somebody that does that, that has an old car, has something. How are you inspired to even know you're good at it? So that's our whole trip, is just kind of inspire young people to realize that it's attainable.
Well, and that's it, right? So it's one of those things where a lot of these kids, maybe they don't even realize. It's like, well, how do I start? Where do I start? Do I even know if I like cars? This is all I know. I know the streets. I know this. I go to Walmart, so I know that that's a job. And they see cool cars, and they probably love them. And you look at the list that you guys have done and what you guys have really good taste. You guys are building rad shit. And it's cool to think that you're just creating another avenue, whether it's construction, whether it's how to work with your hands, mechanical, obviously paint and body, anything that they're doing. Kids just need to know that they can do it. And there's a vocational setup there. What you guys are doing is awesome. I can't even imagine how many people have come through there and then come back and give back to the community because of what you started.
Yeah, no, it's cool. A lot of my staff right now, so we do, it's a 12-week course. So right now we do a big vetting process. It's a 12-week course. First 6 weeks is apprenticeship. Come through as an apprentice, and you're learning from the basics. Kids that don't know how to use a tape measure. And we're learning how to weld, how to fabricate, how to kind of a crash course. And at week 7, it's drug test, interview, and they're actually paid employees at that point. It's $15, $16 an hour to work on some, low risk customer cars, doing some body work, little rust repair projects that we have that we turn and flip just to kind of put money back in the program. So at that point, they're paid employees. So it's a job. It goes from just like, oh, I'm just learning some stuff and taking this class. Like, no, I have a job. So we get to push a lot harder, and we get way more of a buy-in from our students at the same time because they're taking it serious. And then at that point they graduate and then take that certification and go off and do an actual job that we've been pushing for them. So it's the whole thing. And most of our staff right now, we have some, I have 4 full-time, retired body shop guys that have been in the industry for 30 years, and they're a fabricator and they're a mechanic that have been doing it for a long time. But my TA staff is actually just students that are waiting for that Northrop clearance, which security clearance could take 6 months to a year. So during that time, they work for me as TAs and staff instructors. So there's still this alumni that keeps coming back around. Every 12 weeks, we graduate, and I have a couple that stay with me as staff until they jump into that next career and just keep going. So it's just inspiring the next group, and then keep a couple back to help, and so on and so forth. It just kind of, it keeps going as a cool full circle kind of deal.
I would almost think that you, at the beginning, you look back in 2014 in the early years, you probably, hey, I've got maybe a dozen kids and I'm looking for kids. Well, then the word gets out and it's like, hey, I almost, I got into the Lost Angels program and I'm learning and I'm growing. And then to think that now you almost might have a waiting list or an application process, because you're like, I can only take so many kids. Walk us through that. And is that the case?
Right now we have about 140 on a wait list. And it's every day we're getting new submissions from people, from young people that are just it's taking off really fast. Where it's just a lot of people want to join in, want to get with the program. So yeah, and there's a vetting process. So we have our staff, our office goes through, and it's really, it's more than just a job. You can teach anybody how to weld, right? But there's the soft skill training and the whole adulting and life side that goes with it. I can teach you how to weld, but do you know how to deal with life on life's terms? You know how to deal with when your boss is having a bad mood. What are you gonna do? You're gonna tee off on him, and then what? Then you're out of a job. Do you know how to deal with some of the stuff of, when you show up late, when you miss work, when you deal? There's a lot of situations that a lot of us had to learn as we go. So we try and create this whole ecosystem there. To where you can make mistakes, and we're going to learn and say, hey man, this is how we handle that situation. This is what respect actually looks like. This is what appreciating your job and appreciating your coworkers actually looks like. So I think that's where it's if it was just a training course, it wouldn't be the same. But being into actual employment, we can create this real life scenarios and real life situation it's just a learning tool every day.
I think you kind of mentioned it, and I didn't know if it was like each class, like let's say, for example, you had like a freshman group, a sophomore, a junior, a senior. Do you only really have like 25 kids there at once? Or is there, hey, I've got 50 kids. Some of them are in their first phase. Some of them are in their second phase. How does that kind of scale out?
No. So we do a vetting process, and then we do an interview. And then it's really, we can only do 25 students at a time for 12 weeks. They come through the whole first apprenticeship piece, graduate into the employment. They do drug test, interview, and all that. And then we actually offer employment. They have 6 weeks of 4 days a week, 8 hours a day, actually working. And then graduate. So yeah.
So they're out of school then. They can't be a 16-year-old and be in school.
This is all 18 to 24.
18 to 24. Okay.
Yeah. So it's called TAY, Transitional Age Youth, which really, I worked with high school kids for years, and it's who's to say who's more at risk, who's more vulnerable, who's more what. I just know that at 18, for a lot of our young people, a lot of the resources and stability tends to get cut. That's when families tend to cut ties with somebody, okay, cool, you're grown, you're on your own now. And that's really where there's that tipping point of sink or swim. And if you really haven't had support the whole time, or haven't had a good structure the whole time, you're going to sink. It's going to be really hard. And that's where, I think it was like 50%. It's a staggering number. 50% of kids aging out of foster care end up homeless within the first 6 months. That's a horrible number. We could do better.
Yeah, we do as a society. It's crazy. I mean, one thing you and I both went through is being 18 years old. So you think about it, and it's like you sound like you had a little bit tougher go about it than I did. But you think about it, it's one of those things. It's cool that you are where you are now because of that experience. One of the things I like to say is what you get when you don't get what you thought you wanted is experience. You've got a lot of experience, and life will continue to hand you those experiences, just like you are these young men and women. But it is crazy to think that, we kind of look back and it's like, in 1970, an 18-year-old was 18. In 1980, an 18-year-old was probably 17. In 1990, an 18-year-old was kind of 16. I've got, my son's 20 now, but when he was 18, I'm like, you're 14. You don't even know, what to do. Society is so soft. And so for these kids, you say, hey, Mother Nature, you're 18 and dad or, stepdad or the dickhead boyfriend or whatever it is kicking the kid out on the curb. And it's like, dude, if you don't go in the military or you don't go to college, you're just like lost trying to figure out what am I going to do? What do I want to do? And you guys are, lucky somewhere there's 25 kids that get scooped up and you guys are a big part of that.
Yeah, no, it's important. It's really it's creating that stability and structure. It's all of it. I mean, I've been doing it for long enough. I've had a bunch of crazy scenarios. I've had a foster mom literally drop her kid off at the youth center with a couple bags of clothes, and he's like, here, you deal with them now, and took off. I'm like, wait, what? And I got this 16-year-old kid now. I'm like, so it's like there's a lot of situations that people aren't really realizing what's actually happening on the daily, that there's a lot of kids that are just lost, that don't have the structure, don't have the stability of someone who actually gives a shit, coming from broken homes where young parents or just parents they're busy trying to figure out their own stuff. Whether it's trauma stuff that they've grown up and still kind of cope with. And now you got this kid that's 17, 18 years old, lost, got a lot of bad influences all around him, trying to figure out what to do. And it's easy to see those commercials like, oh, I want to be an underwater welder. Man, that's great. But that's a long process. I still got to eat. We still got to eat today. So that's why I try and do this kind of crash course of 12 weeks, a couple weeks of apprenticeship, and then right to work. The whole thing is everybody, what that first job is really hard to get. How are you going to get experience with no job with no experience, vice versa. So here it's coming in. You don't got to know nothing. All you have to have is motivation. I interview you interview about 50, 60 people at a time and only can pick 25. I'm looking for the most that are motivated. Doesn't matter where you're from or what you've been through. It's what you're doing right now. And really, I just want to be able to see and hear the motivation that I want something better. And then we'll run through fire with you. We have full-time case managers that are running through all the barrier assessments. Sometimes it's housing. Sometimes it's just needing the driver's license. Sometimes it's stupid stuff like having some tickets that you got to pay that is keeping you from having your driver's license because they avoid it because you haven't gone to court to pay some stupid ticket. So we jump in, get those things, kind of create a roadmap, an IEP for each person and really figure out what is keeping you from being successful and how can we knock that off the list, and not just here's the phone number of someone to call and help you. No, we're going to knock these off the list today. We're going to go to the DMV with you. You jump in the car. Let's go. Let's get it done. Let's get it out of the way. Sometimes it's those things to you or I going to the DMVs is just like, it's annoying. I got to go, whatever. To someone that's 18, 19, that's never done nothing before, that's a hurdle. It's intimidating. You see that line. You're just like, I don't know. I don't know. It's too much. Don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. Don't know who to ask. Don't know. It's tough. There's just so many of those situations that people just need that extra bit of help to walk through,
Yeah, if you don't have a parent that's telling you, right, just a little bit of direction. So it's cool that you guys are there for them. Do you have a certain percentage where you say, hey, out of 25, we usually have 80, 90 that finish and graduate, or a real small percentage that just for whatever reason can't make it?
So right out of, I think what it was, no, every class we're nearly at about a 95% graduation rate. And literally, we've only had a couple that haven't gone right to work or working a sustainable wage within 6 months. So you're still right at that. If it's 95, then it's 90. I could pull up the stats and get them over to you. But I think just this year alone, we started our first semester in January. So right now we're into our second semester. Our first class of 24. I think right now we're at like 50, just under 50. Almost everybody got job offers at Northrop Grumman and are waiting for their entry.
Yeah, and just that they know that they can do it once you show them the way and they do it and they're successful, and that's got to be very gratifying for not only the students, satisfying as well for you.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's cool when someone comes back through. We had a couple of kids that have gone off working and they're making, $25 an hour working in aerospace, and they come back through on a Friday on their day off and just hype everybody up. So you have the whole new group of kids. It's like, oh, that's the guy that came through and got a job. And then he starts talking. Once you put him on the spot, like, hey man, tell us a little bit about what it's like over there. And then it takes a minute of shyness. All of a sudden it's like, boom, they're Mr. Celebrity and talking, they're just running and talking about what it's like. And everybody's just hyped to hear what's coming up if they stay with it. So that's what I like to see, where they get that day in the sun, where they're hyped up, showing where they're at, just that sense of pride.
Well, and when you see that somebody got, they came in and they made it, they got out, right? It's like,
Yeah.
hey, then it's like, I can do this too. And to feel that one of your peers or, somebody that was there before you can kind of help you. And it's like, hey, this is, we can make it. You can make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us about the 62 C10. You guys have, when you think about the list, the Roadster, the Caddy, the Apache, the El Camino, the Rivy. I mean, damn, you guys have some cool cars. These kids get to work on some cool shit. You come across a 62 C10. Walk us through that. Hey guys, I've got Joe Road, Classic Performance Products, CPP back. Joe, let's talk X10 spindles. Go.
Yeah, CPP's one of our most popular parts through the years has been our 2.5-inch drop modular spindles. Really popular part. Well, we've kind of taken that to the next step. We've emulated late model Corvette, Silverado, Chevy technology into our new X10 drop spindles. They use a steel hub, sealed bearing hub, really strong piece.
As you know, Joe, so many guys are building bigger trucks, bigger wheels, bigger brakes, everything bigger and better. Is this X10 something they should be considering?
Oh, absolutely. It's oversized bearings. Definitely great for a guy using big brakes, big wheels, which I'm sure all your guys are.
All right, guys, there you go. If you're looking to upgrade, you need a new spindle anyways, you're going to lower your truck, you're running a bigger wheel, a bigger brake. CPP's got it for you with their new X10 spindle. Joe, as always, thank you. CPP, ClassicPerform.com. It's ClassicPerform.com.
Since the 1960s, US Mags has held the title for the longest-running custom wheel tradition. Experience the wheels that made history and set the trends for American truck culture for decades to come. From cast wheels to full custom 1- and 2-piece forged wheels, US Mags keeps you and your truck in mind with every new design and model. Our cast wheel series are designed specifically for Chevy trucks and are stocked and ready to ship, giving you the wheels you need when you need them with perfect fitment. Set your ride apart with our custom forged wheels, available in just about any finish and fitment desired. US Mags are guaranteed to distinguish your style and attitude from the rest.
Hey guys, are you about that life? That air it out lifestyle? You know how good those laid out rides look, right? Well, AccuAir offers premium air suspension solutions for you and your ride. They have products in stock ready to ship, or you can buy from your favorite dealer. So, give them a follow on social media for any product updates and anything new coming out in the future. AccuAir.com. It's that easy. AccuAir.com. These kids get to work on some cool shit. You come across a 62 C10. Walk us through that.
Yeah, no, it was. So every year we kind of kick around, like when we're done after our giveaway, we kind of sit down and talk about what are we going to do next year. And it's just like, I think when we did El Camino, one of my kids was like, yo, an El Camino sounds really cool. And I started showing pictures of different years. And of course that 59 pop, and everyone was like, yes, we took a vote. Boom. All right, that's what it's going to be for next year. The C10, we've done a ton of them over the years. And it was just like, man, I think right now with the hype of everything, I think like this was in 2019. I'm like, I think a gold C10, like a knee knocker, would be just an awesome car to the lineup. And everybody was like, yeah, we started pulling up photos, and everybody was on board with a C10. Everybody was hype on it. I'm glad I talked him out of purple. I don't know where that came from, but I think the gold is actually hitting pretty good. But yeah, no, I found this car, found the truck down. It was in Venice. Some guy had it on the side of the road, just parked in bad shape. Picked it up pretty decent, started taking it apart and realizing how rusty it was. We stripped the whole thing down right before COVID, and then it just sat. I didn't have class, didn't have school, didn't have nothing. And then we jumped into just emergency relief funds with everybody and doing food giveaways and all that. So it wasn't till just, recently we started back up on the project. I think it was summer before last. We started slowly back up on it. And luckily the guy I got it from had already gotten rid of the torsion bar front end, put a 63 front cross member on it, had disc brakes, and was just kind of sitting up high. And, the 62 chassis are kind of funky. So this semester we went and cut most of the back half of the X frame off and just boxed it in. And we actually stepped the frame in the rear, stepped it, and put airbags right where in the stock location, which we kept the stock trailing arms. I love this. The stock suspension of a C10 is perfect for bags. And just made an extra long Panhard bar, and the thing lays down pretty good. Lays down nice. We didn't bag the front. Just dropped the front, cut a coil, got the front down nice and low, and just bagged the rear, and it's got a cool stance.
So does it still have the X frame in it, and then you just cut the back out?
Yeah, so it has the X frame cross member, but just the back part is just how it has that X frame that goes all the way up over the notch area. It's just kind of funky. So we just got rid of it and boxed in the whole back half of the frame because we stepped the frame right at the back of the cab, just to get it. And instead of doing a big notch that's kind of funky, because I wanted to put bags in the stock location, it's kind of not really applicable like that. So we just step it right behind the frame, right behind the bed.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's I love the color. I love the stance. I did see where I think I think it was a funny post where they put the bed on, and then right when they put the bed on, it kind of aired out.
Yeah. We had a T-fitting. We had like mock-up fittings just to get it up, just to get it going, just so we could push it around the shop. And that's actually the guy in that was Matt Weber. He's like our grant writer, so he doesn't come in the shop too much, just because he wants to, but he's always locked up in the office trying to get funding to keep this place going. It's our insurance, just to have kids run around with chop saws and grinders and welders is pretty expensive, so that's his job. So he's not used to it, so he's out there and looking at an airline popped, and he was just like, what the hell's going on, man? What are you guys doing out here? So
yeah. Oh my God, you ruined it. Come on. What happened? Holy shit. We're going to have to start all over.
Yeah. No, it was cool. I saw on your feed, man, in my heart tank, I don't know who that guy was that had a pickup truck bed on sawhorses and it fell off.
Yeah.
Oh my God, whoever that guy was, man, my heart goes out to you. It's horrible.
Yeah, our homie Simple C10, and it was cool that he posted that. We had just had him on the pod, but he put it on there and said, you know what, shit happens to everybody. You gotta just try to set yourself up so it doesn't. But if it does, just get back on that pony and keep riding. It is pretty crazy, some of the things. I had just recently posted, I think it was on C10 Nation. I forget the guy's name. It's GM. I'm drawing a blank here. But he had like a 63 Ford GMC, and whoever he had sold it, and the guy who was driving it up onto his car hauler, he went all the way to the front and slammed into the front and completely just roached the hood. And I can't remember if it got into the grill a little bit there, but yeah, that's a little depressing. The older these trucks get, and it sounds like the 62 that you guys it was rough, and you guys go through it, and it's cool to show these kids that, hey, you can take something like this, and after X amount of hours of labor and heart and blood, sweat, and tears, you're going to make this.
Yeah. And I think it's some of the stuff too is knowing when to, once we got the cab, it was actually in rough shape, a little more rougher shape than we thought. So we actually went back and found another cab. And just kind of showing that hey man, we can swap this stuff around and make it work. If this one's just in too bad a shape, or, the door skins, we ended up reskinning the doors and just going through that's a doable thing. You can do it. And then some stuff too, like, hey man, you know what? This kind of came in a little crooked. Let's cut this out and redo it. You know, you got to know when to just stop and start over, that it's okay.
Yeah. Do you find that really challenging with the kids? Do they have the patience? Do they have the understanding, like kind of seeing the forest from the trees and like, hey, if this doesn't line up, this isn't going to line up. We've got to really make sure, you know, this is really precise. Is that a challenge for you as a lead instructor?
No, 100%. And that's why working with the younger kids too, it was actually really tough, and working with cars. So you're really trying to cultivate success, because you can actually, you know, these cars could take forever, and you have a young person that's just like already bored. They like the car, but they're already like lost interest. You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's too much. So we got to break it down into smaller successes. Our whole goal is just getting the fenders cut, rust repair done. And just that's the goal right there. Don't even think about the whole truck. Like, let's just map it out and break it into smaller sections. Okay, this is the crew that's just doing the bed. Your whole job is just the bed. Don't even think about the whole truck. And I think that actually helps a lot. Cause yeah, you can't see the forest through the trees. It's too much. It's daunting. You have a young person that's just like, it's not my truck. What do I care? All right, shoot. Okay, we have to make it to where you can have a success like today, tomorrow, this week. We're going to hit a goal. We're going to conquer something to where you feel that we have to create that pride where it's like, yeah, okay, you did this. Damn, bro, good job. Look at you welded that. Damn. All right, cool. Like, how do we create that? That's one of the important things, is keep people motivated.
All right. Tell us a little bit about the motor. What'd you guys do there?
Motors, actually, we were just going to grab I had a couple old motors going to get rebuilt, and the rebuild shop here in our town was kind of going out of business. Part of just things are drying up, you know, so we're trying to get a crate motor, and just the regular crate motors are getting harder to get. So it was just like, man, everything's out of stock, code, whatnot. So we ended up going with like a 350 horse blueprint crate motor. So aluminum heads, just a nicer small block. Didn't want to go all crazy with the LS and everything. We'll save that for later. But just a nice little small block. Got a 700 R4 from Mike's Transmission. If anybody's familiar, he's probably one of the top guys, I think, in LA. I think even on the West Coast, people fly their transmissions. They do a lot of race transmissions. So Top Fuel, dragsters, everyone brings their stuff to Mike's right here in Lancaster, and they do an awesome 700. So got a nice build 350 and a 700. That thing should do great.
Cool.
Yeah.
With the rear bags, is it just some manual switches?
Yeah. Nothing too crazy. Simplicity is king as far as I'm concerned. Less things to go wrong. Basic one tank stuff from Via Air, a 3-gallon tank, and it's just simple.
And then one compressor.
Yeah, one compressor, up, down. 2
switches or one switch, 2 left and right, or just one?
We always hook the compressor off. It's on an on-off, so you can turn off the pressure switch if you want. Sometimes I don't want to hear it, but I would just leave it on all the time, and then just a momentary up, down.
Okay, cool. Interior, what'd you guys do there?
Just standard, really just standard. Did everything gold inside, white vinyl with the gold pleats. Everything is gold, not gold pleats, but gold piping. We're about to drop. There's a guy, Steering Wheel Chris. I don't know if you're familiar, but the dude's phenomenal. He took we took a deluxe wheel and stripped it down and did that clear resin, but a gold clear resin. Chromed everything first, like a nice good chrome on the hoop and everything, and then did that clear gold resin over it. He just sent me videos of it today. It's phenomenal. But yeah, his Instagram is Steering Wheel Chris with a K, and the stuff that this guy does, just steering wheel stuff, is phenomenal. So he did one in the El Camino, and it was just like a game changer. So I'm stoked on have that deluxe wheel all chromed out, and that clear resin looks awesome.
All right, how about gauges?
Just a 6-pack aftermarket gauges. Nothing crazy, simple.
Okay. And then you went with like a smoothie. I don't know if it was a Transit or what, was it a brand wheel?
Man, we were bouncing all over. I wanted to get those Detroits, and I ended up going like US wheel. We ordered them a while ago, got these 20x8s. Everything was cool. It was going to be the chrome hoop or the painted center. By the time we finally went to put them on the car, the offset was wrong and it wouldn't fit. I was like, oh my God, dude. And we're like running out of time. We were just like, that was literally like about a month ago. when I set them on finally and realized, oh no, like we had rollers on it the whole time. And I was like, oh no, these don't fit in the front. Like I can't turn the wheel. I really had to like maybe 1/8 of an inch. They wouldn't even go on. The bed wouldn't even go on. So I was like, oh my God. And there was nothing. Detroit, everything is just too much of a weight to actually get anything. I had those 22s. That wasn't really working. The same thing as just too big, too wide, wasn't the offset. I don't know how people are getting those things to fit in there real good. It was just too tight. Ended up getting US mags or US wheels to make us a set of 18s with as much of an offset as possible, and actually fits in there perfect now. But yeah, it was a nice.
Are you like 4.5, 5.5 in the back, or do you know what you guys are in the back? And then are you converted over to disc brakes in the front?
Yeah, I got disc brakes in the front, and it was to get an 18x8. The most that I think that I was kind of going back and forth. The most they would get was I think 4 3/4, and what I got was like 3 3/4 in the first one. There wasn't enough of a backspacing, so
sure.
Now it put me just right. So now it's perfect. Those 18s are in there nice.
Yeah, it does look good. So it all worked out, right? It's kind of funny how that all kind of came together. Any other little things from the bumpers to the flooring? Any other kind of things to talk about?
Nothing really custom. I mean, we did. So the crew, one of my kids, or one of the crew is probably about 4 of my kids. Ended up doing a big window conversion. We did a different conversion I gotten from somebody, just a smaller little conversion. I didn't really like it so much. It was kind of a little tough. So we ended up going and just, I think from Classic Industries, is getting that whole inner structure, cut that out. And that was the smoothest thing ever. I mean, boom, these guys knocked it out super fast. Definitely recommend just getting the stock conversion piece. It was awesome.
I mean, it's a full, for the audience, it's a full piece that goes in the inner on those 60 to 66s. It's got one big metal piece. The whole interior of those trucks, it's kind of crazy to think that all those trucks were a fawn color, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys keep it fawn?
No, we ended up going gold. I know every truck, I probably got 3 of these trucks floating around right now, and they're all the exact same color. Is that really a thing, or is that just like a random high percentage that they were?
Nope, no, they all were fawn inside. So when as far as I know, they're all fawn. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's black.
Yeah.
Everyone I've ever seen it's all fawn is what it's called. It's a gold color. So kind of with the big back window is, this little piece comes all black. So at that point you're painting it. Sometimes guys will say, hey, I'm trying to find that OG. It's harder and harder. And then anymore now with that piece being made, you don't have to chase it down. You can buy it from Classic Industries, and then, cut out your old window, your old inner, and then put your new one in. And then if you're going to paint it, or some people just shoot it fawn and it stays the same. Yeah.
We ended up welding up the whole seam on the inside, and then smoothing it all out and just shooting the whole thing that same gold that we shot the whole truck. And it just turned out really nice.
Now, are you guys calling this truck Golden Ticket? Do you guys have a name for it?
No, I think that's kind of what came up. It's just the Golden Ticket.
Yeah, I think I've seen a few things, and it's kind of obviously you think about the Willy Wonka and everything and the Golden Ticket, and it's cool. So, all right. So let's say, when do you have to buy your tickets? It sounds like September 3rd in Ventura is where you guys are going to raffle this thing off. It's going to be a live event. You don't have to be there. When and where can they buy the tickets? And one thing to make sure we let the audience know, this is the real deal. This is a 501c3 nonprofit. This is for the kids. The money goes back into everything that Aaron and his staff is doing. This isn't some fly by night setup, because anymore, unfortunately, it sucks that we have to say that type of stuff. But there's a lot of people out there, especially when it comes to these raffles. People will raffle them for their own, gain. And I don't know whether the audience realizes that's a soapbox for me. That's, that's bad for the big picture, especially when you have guys like you that are doing things to help support and change lives with this. So we want to make sure this is the real deal. Again, nonprofit 501c3 and everything that they're doing. I've vetted that, because I'm like, hey, this is the real deal. Then I can't wait to find out more about what you guys are doing. So you want to buy some, you guys have some specials. I think does it end at a certain time where if you buy so many, you get so many? When you're looking for classic Chevy or GMC truck parts, brotherstrucks.com is your number one source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC truck restoration parts. So whether you are restoring an original or looking to customize that classic truck, brotherstrucks.com has thousands of the highest quality truck parts for you to choose from. So head over to brotherstrucks.com and order your free catalog today. And don't forget to follow Brothers on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates and special offers too. Hey guys, are you thinking about swapping out your old motor for a more reliable LSLT-based power plant? We've got great news for you. PSI Conversion is offering our listeners 10% off your order. Behind each PSI harness, you get over 10 years of experience in the business, online tech support, phone support, and harnesses made in the U.S. That's psiconversion.com. And don't forget, use code C10TALK and save 10% today. Hey guys, I've got Andrew from Painless Wiring on. Andrew, what's the latest?
Just working on producing these GM truck harnesses. They're our best moving vehicle specific, and we're just, super excited to be able to service such a great community of truck guys.
Made in the USA. You guys are probably cranking them out nonstop. A ton of our audience is out there buying these trucks, building these trucks, and they know, hey, Painless Performance has got me taken care of.
Factory options, aftermarket stuff. If you have any questions, call our tech guys. They'll walk you through anything you need to know, and we'll make sure your truck gets wired up right the first time.
If you want to clean up your underdash, you want to clean up your chassis, it's that easy. Painlessperformance.com, painlessperformance.com. Thanks, Andrew. You guys have some specials. I think does it end at a certain time where if you buy so many, you get so many?
Yeah, so we've been doing we just kind of shoot out random little deals just to keep people incentivized. This last little bit, we've been doing daily raffles. So whoever buys a ticket within the 24-hour period, we'll do another little drawing of some kind of random way to pick their ticket, and they'll get a 5-pack of free tickets just to keep people motivated. And then I think so to kind of go back, so we're a licensed legal 501c3 nonprofit. Our 990s, all of our tax stuff is up on our website, so everything's fully transparent. See what comes in and what goes where. And our website is lostangelscp.org. I suggest that's where you can buy tickets. And you can go to even the link in our bio on our Instagram just to really see what's going on. I think we're going to push tickets until the Tuesday. I think the Tuesday, the 29th or 30th, right before the giveaway, which is that Saturday. And the reason why we stop the online stuff, just so there's enough time to where you can still get them in the mail. You can still get them in the mail by Saturday morning or Saturday. And then we'll be out in Ventura the 3rd, September 3rd, for the Ventura Nationals Fairground, for the Ventura Nationals show, which I suggest anybody get out. It's super fun. It's right there. It's at the fairground, right on the beach. You can literally walk across the road to the beach, come back to the show. There's really no other show like it, where it's just that really kind of mellow, cool feel. And then we'll be doing the ticket drawing right there. Most of our cars, most of the people that have won in the past still come back to the show and hang out so that you could see all the previous winners and see other stuff that people bring out, all the art and different cars. We'll be doing ticket drawing that day at probably the end of the day around 4:00. So come through. You do not need to be present to win. So if you buy a ticket online, you don't have to be there, but definitely have your phone on. We've had it a few times where people have won and we had to call them over, on speaker in front of everybody and just listen to them on the, over the speakers, just being surprised that they actually won a car that day.
Do you, if you draw it, have you ever not, let's say 20 minutes go by, somebody doesn't pick up, or it's like, hey, they bought the ticket, they won, it's over, this is a done deal?
We haven't really had a thing. I figured what we would do, we just keep everything, live and fully transparent, but I don't know. We have never really set it up to where maybe I would give it a couple days, give it 2 days. And if no one claims it, draw again. But we haven't had that. We've had one, I think the guy, Mike, that won the Cadillac, he was there, bought tickets, and then left halfway through the show and took off. By the time we did the drawing, and him and his old lady were already halfway back up to Salinas and answered the phone. And I think we called, he didn't answer. And then another buddy was like, wait, I know that name, and called him and got him to answer. He didn't want to answer an unknown number, you know what I mean? And calling, he's like, yeah, bro, you you won the car. You better get back here. And that dude was doing like 100 miles an hour back to Ventura, and showed up probably about a half hour later. And we're just like, wait, what? This really happened? So yeah, no, we've been fortunate. We've only had a couple of times where people were actually there and was able to walk up on stage and actually take the keys right then and there and be a part of it. So I always say, like, don't leave before the magic happens.
Well, and that's another cool thing, I think, for the kids to see when, not only do they see that somebody wins it and they see the fruits of their labor and they're like, dude, this is awesome. But then they see somebody who wins it and they're like, this is so cool. They get to see that smile, that joy. So that's really cool. Okay. So I'm just looking at the date. So the 3rd is obviously a Saturday. You guys are going to sell tickets till Tuesday the 30th, or you think Wednesday the 31st?
No, probably Tuesday the 30th. We'll keep announcing it. We'll do daily updates online. We'll keep announcing it, but I believe Tuesday will probably be our last day, just to make sure that everyone will have tickets in the mail.
So we'll drop this tomorrow, the 23rd, and then in the following Tuesday. So that gives it a week of pushing it out. The other question I have, is there a limit on tickets, or do you just sell?
No, so we printed 5,000, and that would put us right at $100,000, which would be amazing. It's last year we hit, and we do a lot of buy one get one frees and a lot of buy two get one free. So we come in under. We've never hit actually $100,000, but it helps. Our what it costs to put young people through this program to get them going, to try and get them on a better path. It adds up. That was pretty expensive. So doing the car giveaways it's a multi-tier thing. It helps offset the cost of covering food and work boots and welders and metal and everything else. But it helps keep the place open for the next generation coming through.
Who did the rendering? Is it Black? I forget his first name.
E Black. Yeah, Eric. He's been helping us out from the beginning, and his stuff. If you follow him, he's phenomenal. And he came in. He popped up out of nowhere the second year and was just like, yeah, man, I let me do this. And we've tried to offer him money, but he's like, no, man, I want to do this. I think what you guys are doing is great. And he's always been so just helpful and cool with ideas and kind of shooting back and forth. And he's just top shelf artist. He's awesome and just a really cool person to work with.
Yeah, I love his work and love what he does. I know he does a lot of work for a buddy of ours, Delmo. So it's super cool. Yeah. Love the rendering. All right. I think it's a no-brainer. For the audience out there, you want to win a truck, you want to support something, you get online, Lost Angels CP. So that's Children's Project. Yep. And or projects, lostangelscp.org. How else do you guys raise money? Because obviously you can't just do it off of the benefit of the truck or the cars. There's got to be other ways, other grants you had mentioned.
Yeah, so we're constantly just going after grants for funding, trying to keep the place going. There's a lot of just trying to get different funding streams. It's tough. That's a whole other job. That's the office doing what the office does. I don't know. I'm out in the warehouse working. We're chopping cars up. When it comes to the office stuff, is like, oh man, like I said, I'm a caveman when it comes to that stuff. But no, it really it comes down to just trying to really showing what's happening, showing the city, showing funders, showing private foundations. We don't get a whole lot of government funding. Everything, this whole started as just a way to help kids that needed that leg up. So it was any means necessary to create and keep the doors open for young people to come in. So it's a lot. We don't do a lot of fundraisers. I don't know how to go out and ask for free money. It feels weird. I don't know how to do it. So the only way we could do it was, we're going to build a car and let everybody have a chance to try and get after it and see where it goes.
Do you already have 2023's car picked out?
I don't. I'm kind of, there's a lot of cars. Everybody's kind of like a station wagon would be cool. We're just kicking around a couple ideas and nothing's really set in stone just yet.
Sometimes do you have an idea in mind that you want to build something and you try to kind of seek that out? Or do you just kind of say, hey, this just happens to be what I came across. It's affordable. I know I can get parts for that. And it'll still be fun to build that versus maybe like, oh, this would be the raddest build, that I've ever built.
No, it kind of like once I get tunnel vision on something, it's kind of like that's what we're doing. And this truck is kind of like, in the very beginning, first game, I was like, okay, cool. A gold C10, white top, slammed out, trim. Cool, done deal. And since then, I've kind of tried to want to sway to kind of maybe do things a little bit easier, softer. Like, let me just paint the whole thing white, or maybe we'll do it satin, or maybe we'll do patina. Try and just like make things easier. And every time, like, what am I doing? I had it said, this is what I wanted from the gate. Let's just go back to that. And I'm glad that we stuck with the original theme.
Yeah, it looks killer. And like you said, Eric's rendering is money. So Mr. Eric Black, you guys can follow him. Is doing a great job, and your whole team. I love what you're doing over there. I'm honored to have you on. And if it wasn't for guys like you to continue to show these young youth the path, and you're obviously inspiring to them. What does Aaron drive? Does Aaron have a classic that he's always wanted, or do you have a classic that you drive? Or, I see you as being the cool shop teacher that rolls up in some, maybe a 64 Impala or something really kick ass.
No, it's funny. Out of all the cars, I maybe I have commitment issues. I go through car, I have it for a little bit, drive around, get rid of it, trade it for something else. I finally just got one that we worked on a long time ago and got back from a guy. 64 C10 step side long bed, just ugly old truck that is like perfect. We put a brand new crate motor, 700, put AC in it. It just sits up high. I mean, it is legitimately the old farm truck, and it's perfect. I drive the shit out of it.
Nice. You can cut those down so they're not quite as ugly.
I mean, the thing is it's a beast, but it's one of those for all grabbing parts, grabbing metal, grabbing stuff. Slam the door, throw stuff in the back, and go, and not have to worry about it. And it's honestly, it's perfect.
Awesome.
So it's funny. It's C10 truck, and that's what I'm driving every day. So that was not intentional. It's just how it actually worked out.
Aaron, you said it earlier in the conversation. You can give a man a fish, or you can teach a man to fish. What you're doing is very inspirational. Love it. Keep doing it, and showing these young kids the way. Appreciate your time.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, for you guys, lostangelscp.org. Get your ass over there, buy a few tickets. It's for a great cause, and you might win a truck. What I tell you, right? What a great cause. Great dude, great story. They're doing a C10, a 1962 C10. You can win it. Buy yourself a ticket, lostangelscp.org. Thanks for your support. As always, questions, comments, concerns, you can hit me up on social or shoot me an email, ronnie@trucktalkmedia.com, RONNIE @trucktalkmedia.com. Have a great week, guys. Peace.